Bank of Clark County has a comprehensive suite of solutions for your personal and business needs. We offer banking, lending services, and wealth management services with the best-in-class customer service you'd expect from a community bank. Whether you need a checking or savings account, a mortgage or home equity line of credit, a business loan, or to set up a trust or investment account, Bank of Clark County can help. Bank of Clark County. Big Bank Solutions, Community Bank Service. And we've just opened a branch at 530 Blackwell Road in Warrenton. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Planning on traveling this summer? Make saving at the pump part of your plans with 2 times the fuel points from Harris Teeter. It's easy. Download your eVic coupon, and for every dollar you spend with your Vic card, you'll get 2 fuel points. That's up to $1 per gallon on quality fuel at participating BP and Harris Teeter fuel centers. Download your eVic coupon today and save money at the pump all summer long with eVic and Harris Teeter fuel points.
My guest today has played in 98 games and started 94 through the 2021 season. She's a 2-time OSU Scholar Athlete majoring in speech and hearing science. She was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week in February 25th, 2019. Not only that, she was the very first unscripted athlete. With her advising and helping and assistance, we have created the Unscripted Athletes, and I'm really excited about what we're doing there. Most of all, she's also got a little surprise today about halfway through this podcast. You'll have to listen to find out who it was, but would you help me in welcoming my friend, Kaitlyn Coffman?
Welcome to the Unscripted Podcast. My name's Corby LaCroix, and the song you're hearing right now is called Great and Mighty One, available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. But for now, recording from the Unscripted studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard, here's your host and my friend, Aaron Conrad.
Great Redeemer, God of grace.
All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted from my studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Corby, thank you for the intro and the audio as always. I'm super excited about tonight. I've been excited for a while. This is a first. So a few months ago, a friend of mine who happens to be on today's podcast posted that she was going to be a barstool athlete. And I was really interested in what a barstool athlete was. And then I thought, you know what? Let's make Unscripted Athletes. And so with her help, I have now created Unscripted Athletes. And we have over a dozen athletes. Let me stop talking. Let me go ahead and introduce my guest. Actually, let me let her introduce herself. Here's my guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kaitlyn Coffman. I am an Ohio State softball player from California.
And you left out a lot there. You are an advisor. You are a insider to the Unscripted Podcast, a friend of show. There's a lot there that you left out. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm so excited because honestly, Kaitlyn, because of her affiliation with that other thing, helped me create what we called Unscripted Athletes. And with her help, we've continued to groom and grow Unscripted Athletes. And I'm really proud of her. So Kaitlyn, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your story? Because you are at Ohio State, but you did start in California of all places. Can you go ahead and tell, why don't you just take us back to the beginning? Tell us your story.
So when I was younger, my dad worked a lot with me with softball, and, you know, he always would encourage me like, oh, like, you're going to go to college to play. You're going to go to college to play. And I was like, yeah, Dad, like, that was like my number one goal. Well, I started hitting with this guy named Jerry Gresham in Fresno, California. And he kind of shaped my game for me. His daughter played for Ohio State. So that was kind of like my, I don't want to say like my end, but like that encouraged me more to come to Ohio State. And like, if you could have asked me back before that, like, oh, like Ohio State, I probably couldn't tell you where Ohio was. Like, I really couldn't have. But, you know, like, he hosted like a batting clinic at his facility, and Ohio State came. They showed interest in me, and they just, you know, kept watching me for a year or two. Then my freshman year of high school in November, I committed to play at Ohio State.
Your
And
freshman year in high school.
yes.
Unbelievable. Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. And, from then on, like I'd go to camps, like from 8th grade, I went to camps back here every summer. My mom and grandpa usually would bring me. And I just absolutely fell in love with the university, the state, everything about it.
So you committed as a freshman.
Yes.
And then just recapping, you committed as a freshman and then every summer would come back to Ohio for camps and clinics.
Yes.
From, again, everybody, this is California. This isn't Indiana, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. This is California. So what does that even look like? Like, did you give up your summer on your travel teams to come here because you had already committed, or would you just work it in? How did that look?
So basically, there was a camp. It's called I think it's the Elite Scarlet and Gray Camp. And it's one weekend at the end of July. And so I'd play with my travel team all summer. I'd, play tournaments, and I'd go to nationals after I got back from the camp at Ohio State. So I didn't have to give up anything, which was nice. I would just play all summer, and then one weekend we would take it off. And me and my grandpa and my mom, we'd fly back here and just participate in the camps. And it was awesome. That's the only thing that I really looked forward to. Like, I really enjoyed travel ball, but that's the only thing that I looked forward to during the summers.
And I've asked Cammie this, and I apologize. Cammie Prano is one of your assistant coaches, friend of show, really good friend of our families. And we did an interview with her before. She was driving 6 hours every weekend with her mom to go and practice. So in California, as you were preparing to come to the Ohio State University, what was that like for you? Like, what was your travel, session? Because California is different, I assume, than Ohio, or was it the same? Like, what was your travel? How did you prepare to be at Ohio State, I guess is my question.
Yeah. So when I was younger, probably around 13, 14, I played for a team down in LA. And so that drive was probably 4 hours. And so I'd go for practice on Wednesday nights. And then on the weekends, I would go for, the whole weekend to practice. And then same thing for tournaments. I have to drive down to LA because that was basically where all the big tournaments were in California, is like down in LA. And then as I got older and, I committed to Ohio State, I was like, okay, like I don't have to worry about like going and, playing for teams down south. So I stayed kind of local. I played for the SenCal Dirt Dogs, and they were probably like 20 minutes away. And so it was really nice, as I got older, because like I didn't have to drive as far. Like the tournaments, we still went down south to LA pretty much every weekend, but I didn't have to like drive down there during the week. Right. So it was a lot nicer. Yeah. And I got to play with some of my like high school friends, which was nice. And, it was just a good time, especially as I got older. Cause like, softball's like important, but like my relationships with like my teammates as I was like a junior and senior, like were like kind of like my driving force. And like, it was just really enjoyable time.
So you committed as a freshman. Did you find yourself, and I actually did a podcast for something else today that is going to launch that's not related to mine. That being said, and I was with an Ohio State athlete. There you go. Completely unrelated. But what we asked him is he committed early. And so what we asked him is, I'll ask the same question to you. Because you committed early, was it easy to let off the gas as you went through to know I'm committed? I'm going to Ohio State. Maybe I'll skip this workout. Maybe I won't do that, this or that. Like, was it easy for you to say, yeah, I'll take this one off? Or did it drive you even more? I'll give you his answer. And his answer was he went to every showcase. He went to everything because he wanted to prove I'm still number one. Was that the same for you?
Yeah, I would definitely say that was the same for me. Like I think after I committed, my driving force was, okay, like now that I'm committed here, like I have to look forward to keeping my spot so I can sign my NLI in fall of my senior year. And then after that, it was kind of like, okay, like I signed my NLI, like now it's time to earn my starting spot. Like regardless if even like I had finished my senior season with softball, like my driving force was, okay, now I have to earn my starting spot starting now.
Wow. Okay.
That was even in high school.
And that's your advice, I would assume. So I don't know where this will land, but assuming a young player is listening to us right now, is that your advice to them? Is whether you signed as a freshman or you're a sophomore or a junior and you're looking to get that spot, is that your best advice to them?
Oh, 100%. I think like the biggest thing, regardless of your, you know, like your talent level, whatever, like I would just enforce like, you know, the hard work, regardless if you're comfortable where you're at. Like, I don't think that a player should ever be comfortable with where they are at. If they're great All-American in college, like I just like, that's not me. Like, I just don't think that you should ever be comfortable with what situation that you're in.
Love it. All right. So you arrive at campus and I think we may take us in a little bit different direction now. And you and I talked a little pregame, which we don't normally do with Unscripted, but hey, welcome to Unscripted. You arrive on campus and I'll say this, every one of us, most people listening probably went to college. We were a freshman, we were a sophomore. We went through a transition in life and life hit us a little bit different. So you hit campus at the Ohio State University, which, look, I went to a small, hey, shout out Mount Vernon. I'm wearing a hat. My son's there now. Shout out Cougars. I went to a small school, but even a small school, I was from Cleveland. I wasn't ready for the college I went to. I wasn't ready mentally. And as a person who, I'll go ahead and go give the gift of going second, as a person who struggles with mental illness, struggles with anxiety, struggles with depression, I wasn't ready my freshman year. You hit Ohio State campus, and I know you've been through it. And if you don't mind, can you walk us through a little bit of what your transition was from California to Columbus, Ohio, the big stage, the Ohio State University? Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah. So, you know, moving in, like when I was a freshman, I was 19 years old, I think, either 18 or 19. I think it was 19 years old. You know, like my mom came back with me to move me in with my grandma, and it was instantly just like a whole nother like hemisphere. It was crazy. And like once my grandma and my mom left after they moved me in, like it was scary. Like I was all by myself, granted, you know, like Ohio State softball, like I have a built-in family. Like I know that I can always, you know, like come to my teammates, my friends, and like just know that like I'm welcome here. But not being next to my mom all the time, like how I am, you know, when I'm back home, like it was scary. And like I have to make my own decisions for myself. Like nobody's like telling me to go do my laundry. Like I have to tell myself to do my laundry. And so like it's just like it was really rough. And you know, like obviously, you know, going into a new environment, like I made some decisions that I'm not proud of and, you know, kind of affected like my life. And I just felt kind of like I was like a little fish, like kind of in a big sea. Like, and that's what all my coaches told me before I came, you know, to college. Like, you know, you might be this big, you know, fish in the sea, but like once you go to college, like you're going to be really small. You're dealing with, you know, the greatest athletes, like you're dealing with people that don't know you. And so like, I don't know, like it was just really rough. But I kind of found my way. I, you know, met some of my best friends, my roommate, Maggie Oddie, love her to death. But, you know, and like even some of the coaches, like they were just kind of like my home away from home. And so that really helped me kind of like navigate my way through, you know, the scary transition of going from a small little town in California to the great big Columbus.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you and I have known each other 2 years. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. Is that right? 2 years. So. You know, and really more so the last year. And I've seen so much growth in you as a person. And we said offline, we may cry on this episode. I'm not going to do it now. Not yet, because we got a guest coming that I just text and told her to get in here as soon as possible.
Oh, no.
But you know, I've seen so much growth in you. I'm so proud of you. We won't talk about where we met and how, where we work together. That's not important. What's important is I've seen so much growth in you as a person. And we all go through it. I did. I think most people listening to this podcast would, if we were in a room, they would tell you they went through it too.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. That's part of the process, I think, of becoming an adult. And I'm so proud of you and everything that you're becoming in life. I really am. That said, you did talk about some challenges that you had, and how your softball team really helped you through that. Can you talk about the Ohio State softball team for a little bit and what that's meant to you, and that family that you have together?
Yeah. So, I kind of talked about it a little bit ago, but like growing up, like softball was pretty much what my life revolved around. Like my dad always telling me like, oh yeah, I want you to play in college. You're going to play. And so when I was finishing like my senior year, I was super
Kaitlyn,
excited.
I'm sorry.
excited.
You broke up just a second there. Can you start over? I'm so sorry. You broke up a second.
No, it's fine.
It's a connection issue. Go ahead.
What was the last thing that I said?
Welcome to Zoom. No, you said about your team and about Ohio State, growing up and what that was like coming to Ohio State.
Yeah. So when I was like younger, like my dad would always be like on my butt, like trying to get me to work harder, softball. Like I want you to go and, play college, grow to your fullest potential. And so when I got back here, it was like, okay, like now I really need to pump the gas. Like I was working hard before, but now that I'm with better athletes, like I was saying, like the greatest athletes in the world, like I know that like I have to grow as a player and realize, okay, like I need to do more than what I was doing before pretty much. Yeah. And so I was a freshman. And so like, the stigma, like seniors, juniors don't really get along with freshmen. Well, my freshman year, the senior class kind of like took the freshmen under their wing, like guided us, helped us. I never had a doubt that the seniors that were seniors when I was a freshman, like wouldn't help me at all. Mm-hmm. And, it was really nice because like I was saying, adjusting from a little pond to like the big ocean, like it was really challenging because I didn't know where I was, like I didn't know where I was going. And so I just think like my teammates were the biggest, had the biggest impact on my life when I was younger and a freshman, adjusting from small town Visalia, California to Columbus, Ohio.
Where's Visalia, by the way?
So it's in the Central Valley.
Where's the Central Valley?
Oh my God. So like you have like LA LA's down here, and then San Francisco, we're like right in the middle. So like where like Fresno is, like that's pretty much the area.
I live in Ohio. Like I know where Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus are. You're speaking a different language, right? I'm kidding.
That's how I go.
All right. So our guest is in the green room. He's waiting. Okay. I can't let him in just yet because I want to tee this up. You've had an injury, okay? You got injured last season, so let's see if we can sync this up without me screwing it up completely. Welcome to Unscripted. You had an injury last year, and it ruined. So first of all, you've dealt with COVID, and then you dealt with an injury. Can you talk about where you're at with the injury? How it was losing was it your junior season?
It was my sophomore season that I lost to COVID.
You lost sophomore to COVID, junior to your shoulder injury. Can you talk to us a little bit about your injury? Because I want to let my guest in a minute, and he's going to talk about that.
Yeah. So my shoulder injury, I actually have had shoulder problems for 3 to 4 years. And like, I always put it off because I was like, no, like I need to play. I can get through it. Like it would hurt for a little bit, then it would stop. And so I would just like put it off, whatever. And then last year in like mid-April, I was hitting and I felt my shoulder come out of place completely. And normally like when it does that, like it just goes right back in, hurts, but whatever, but it didn't go like right back in. And so went to the trainer. We went to get x-rays, MRI, and it turns out that I had a torn labrum. My labrum was completely torn off the bone. And yeah. And so like, I didn't know if it was like from that incident or from like a while ago. It definitely could have been a while ago. But so then I had surgery early May, and I actually just had my doctor's appointment today. And the doctor told me that at the 5-month mark, which is next week, I can start hitting and throwing.
Awesome.
So I'm so excited.
Wait, and you didn't even text me that. I was waiting, but it's fine. It's fine. You didn't let me know. All right. So let's see. My guest is in the green room on November 7th. Do you have plans November 7th that night?
I do.
All right. Let me see. Let me see what I can do here. My guest is coming in right now. I think my guest may have some words for you. Kaitlyn, I want to introduce you to my good friend, Mr. Gary Miracle. For those listening on the podcast who I'm sure have heard the podcast before, Gary Miracle is the man in the Say I Won't video. And I wanted Gary to come on today because Kaitlyn
stop it right now.
Look, all three of us are gonna be crying in a minute. Stop. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to hold it together. Y'all know I can't get it through. All right, so I'm trying to do this, guys. Seriously. So anyway, I want to introduce Mr. Gary Miracle to my friend Kaitlyn Coffman. Kaitlyn has tickets to a concert on November 7th for a group called Mercy Me. And if you're not familiar, a group called Mercy Me has a song called Say I Won't that my good friend, who's also joined us here for the podcast, is featured in the video. And Gary, you got some words for my friend Kaitlyn, don't you?
Well, no, I just wanted to steal her thunder and just kind of take over in this situation. I figured I was way more important.
Classic Gary. Classic Gary.
No, Kaitlyn. Oh, it is so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
I hate that I'm looking at my camera right now, so it looks like I'm looking at you. Forget it. I'm gonna look at you. You're down here. All right. I'm going to look at you. So know that I'm looking at you, not at my cell phone, because I want to talk to you. And listen, Aaron has told me so much about you. And I am so incredibly thankful for this opportunity to come and see you and meet you. And there's just a couple things that I don't know you at all, right? Not out of the little bit that Aaron has shared with me, which is incredible. Just your career, your spirit, your smile, just across the board. You know, he's shared all of these things with me. This was actually, I'm going to kind of steal. I'm looking at you now, Aaron. What are you wearing on your hat? What happened?
Hey, my son plays baseball there. Come on, Gary. Come on.
Where's your expensive hardwood backdrop?
I moved.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Kaitlyn, back to you. Listen, this is where I'm at. Aaron mentioned that you had heard my story and kind of heard all of this. And, you know, life is really, really hard sometimes. Like, it's very difficult. Just life, relationships, injuries, tragedies. I mean, it's out there. But I am spending every waking second that I can trying to convince people in every opportunity that I can to try to convince people. And I'm going to stop saying people, and I'm going to look at you, Kaitlyn. I want to convince you, and you may already know this, so you can tell me to pound sand here in a second if you've heard all of this information. But if nobody has told you today, or here I go. If nobody has told you today that you are enough and that you are beautiful and perfect, Kaitlyn, you're absolutely perfect. Exactly the way you are. God didn't mess up on Kaitlyn. God didn't make a mistake on Kaitlyn. And he is so proud of you. And the thing that I am trying to convince you is that you are 100%, 100 billion%. Sorry.
What up, ECMO?
That's ECMO. You are 100% free in Christ. And I pray, again, I don't know you. I'd love to know you, but I pray that you know that. I pray that when you lay your head on your pillow tonight, that you will have what it says in the Bible about this peace that passes all understanding. And it's such an incredible feeling, an incredible, let me change it. It's an incredible feeling, but it also gives you such incredible purpose. I have no idea what you guys have been talking about up until this point. So I could be derailing everything that you guys have set in motion up until this point. But just speaking with Aaron so much today, a little bit about you, a little bit about Unscripted, a little bit about, his heart. And I think this world loves Aaron, to the moon and back if they had an opportunity to meet him. And he's given people like me, and he's giving you this opportunity to share this platform and to share your heart and share your story. And I just pray so hard for you right now that you are just incredibly real with him. I have seen firsthand how many people have reached out to me since the platform that Unscripted has given me. And I just pray that you take this opportunity because you have so much to offer. And I've read about you. He told me about you today. So I'm like, who is Kaitlyn? Let me read about this girl that I want to talk to tonight and have the honor to just look in your eyes and tell you the most powerful, in my opinion, and I believe, Aaron, we're brothers in this, the most powerful three things that anybody can ever remind us of on a daily basis is that, Kaitlyn, you are absolutely right now, today, you are perfectly holy, you are perfectly righteous, and you are perfectly redeemed. And there's nothing on this planet that can change that. And I pray that sets in. I pray that is something that you can take to heart and that you will never, ever forget. And if you do ever forget it, email me and I'll tell you again. All right?
He will. Honestly.
Pray that. I really do. Aaron and I tell each other it often.
Absolutely.
We speak this, we just speak truth. And I don't think there's enough people that speak truth. And unfortunately, I don't think there's enough.
Attention, Ride On Bus, Ride On Extra, Flash and Flex riders. Fare collection will resume on August 1st. Fares will be collected at a new reduced rate. All trips are now only $1. Kids, seniors, and disabled still ride for free. The new reduced rate of $1 reflects Montgomery County's desire to provide equitable transit for all riders. Pay via Smart Trip card, download the Smart Trip app on your mobile phone, or pay with exact change. Learn more at rideonbus.com.
I don't think there's enough girls out there that people are willing to look at in a non-flirtatious, in a non-whatever that world, right? In that world, in a non-that world, men don't look at women and be like, you are, God designed you. He didn't make a mistake on you. Whatever you did this morning, whatever you did last week, whatever you did last season, last year in school, and he knew all of it. And golly, girl, it sounds like, from what I've heard from Aaron and from what I've read about you, you have the world for the taking. You have everything right there to run for and to fight for and to live for, because you are holy, righteous, and redeemed. Perfect and more than enough. Now, with all of that being said, that's my thing for you. Now,
here it comes.
I hear you're going to a Mercy Me concert, right?
Yeah.
That is super. Okay, I'm looking back at you now. All right. I hear you're going to Mercy Me concert.
Yeah.
Aaron has worked it out with me where I am going to be there as well.
Okay.
I'm going to whatever the heck Podunk, Ohio is. I don't know where you people live. I don't know if they're cows or corn or what I'm getting.
Hey, he's gonna be in Hilliard, Ohio, man. We're gonna make Hilliard, Ohio famous. Gary, come on, Gary, come on.
Whatever. It's hills. That's all I just heard. There's hills.
There's no hills. There's not a single hill in Hilliard.
Oh, well, okay. Well, all right.
There's a lot of roundabouts.
Florida.
Yes, roundabout.
But
anyway,
Kaitlyn,
I'm sorry. I'm still your
it's all right. Kaitlyn, I would be honored if at that concert I could take you backstage to meet the guys and let you just meet them, get a picture with them, talk to them, autograph. I don't know, whatever you would like or be thankful. But I'm going to be there. Aaron's going to be there. We're going to get with you after the show, and I'm going to get you back there to meet these guys and just let them love on you and let them give you a hug and just encourage you as well. So I hope that is exciting for you. I don't know. Maybe you hate Mercy Me and you don't want that to happen. Sometimes I do. That's okay. I tell them. I stayed at one of their houses this past weekend in Dallas, and I'm annoyed with him. He spilled my coffee. I ordered Starbucks, and he spilled my coffee in his car.
Gary, what's the name of the text string you guys have? Come on,
I talk to the five guys often, and we're in a text thread together. Our text thread is called "Mercy Me and the Amputee." So it's very fitting. I am their token cripple person. I'm allowed to say that. I can say that. You can't say that. I mean, you can.
It's unscripted. You're allowed to say whatever you want.
You literally haven't said a word yet, but you can call me crippled if you want. That's cool. So man, girl, I want to tell you, just please know you're more than enough in every single second of every single day. And God didn't die in vain. And, Christ is there. He loves you. He's crazy about you. He's standing there right now with his arms wrapped around you as tight as he can with a smile on his face that's 10 miles wide because of Kaitlyn. And you're going to meet these guys that wrote this pretty cool song called Say I Won't. I'm pretty biased to it. I think it's probably the best song they've ever written. Forget I can. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs Even If, Aaron. Nobody needs any of that.
It's my next I already got Say I Won't tatted on me. I got to get Even If, and I've already told Kaitlyn that my next one's Even If. So there you go.
All right. Well, Kaitlyn, I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to get to know you, hear more about your story. I can't wait to watch this full podcast right here. I'm sorry for taking probably way more time than I should have taken from you, but I will see you in about a month, and we will go meet the guys at Mercy Me together.
Yes, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I'm sitting here crying, but you have no idea how much that means to me. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. You deserve it. All right, Aaron, man, I'm out of here. You guys have a great talk. Enjoy your night. I can't wait to watch this episode.
All right, brother. Love you. Thanks for coming in.
Love you, Aaron.
Talk
to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So there you go, Miss Kaitlyn. You have been on pins and needles all day waiting to find out who my special guest was, and there you go.
Yeah, I started crying as soon as I saw Gary's iPad pop up on the phone because I knew exactly who it was, and I was like, "Oh no."
Well, I know you've been a fan, and like I said, I think it was important for me for a few reasons. You've been a fan. You've been, as I said, I meant what I said at the beginning. You've been an insider. We talk often about guests that are coming on, but we also talk about our athletes and what we can do for them. And I'm so thankful for your friendship and your kind of boots on the grounds with the athletes. I'm old, and so I appreciate your insight and help in everything we do. And this was, the things we've covered a little bit here in this podcast, the things that have affected you when you were a freshman and things that we haven't even talked about. I know it was important for me because there's no better person that could deliver that message than Gary. He's been through it, and I know he didn't get a chance to say it, but what we wanted to say was, Say I Won't. You're coming back from that shoulder. You got a senior season ahead of you. You just got cleared today. Say I won't. Okay. Say I won't. Say I won't come back from this. And there's a whole lot of people that are going to be cheering for 55 this year. So let me ask you this. What is 55? Why the number 55?
Oh boy. Okay. So being from California, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. And when I was younger, there's this pitcher, his nickname was the Freak, Tim Lincecum.
Lincecum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes. When I was younger, I thought he was so cute.
He had the flow. He had the flow, like, right? He had the flow before the flow was cool.
Yeah, he did. And so, like after watching him and just like watching like his demeanor and attitude like out on the field, I decided like I was probably like 12 when I first became 55, and I stuck with that all the way until now.
Awesome. Well, there you go. 55. I don't think I made that connection. Very cool. All right. So what's the future hold for Miss Kaitlyn?
Oh boy, lots of things. So right now I am in my undergraduate for speech and hearing sciences. Originally I wanted to become a speech and learning pathologist at schools. And, like after working I worked for Special Olympics. I was an intern for them. And then I worked this special skills camp for special needs kids. It was a baseball and softball clinic. And I absolutely just I cried my eyes out, like driving home from it. I called my grandma and I was like crying, and I was like, Grandma, like I finally think I know like what I want to do. And so I decided after I graduate with my speech and hearing degree, I'm going to go to grad school for special education.
Awesome.
And become a special education teacher.
Do you know where yet?
No idea.
We can't unveil that yet on the podcast. No, you may not know, but at the end of the day, my wife is a hearing impaired, and we moved to Columbus. Honestly, I would still be in Cleveland. I would be cement planted in Cleveland, never leaving, if it wasn't for my wife, who wanted to work at the School for the Deaf. And we moved down here on the fact that she could actually sub, not even have a job, sub. So we moved down to Columbus, and we've been here 21 years now. And, she's in her sweet spot in life. And I'm so appreciative for everyone that works in that field. And honestly, my favorite places, we won't mention the place where you and I used to work. But my favorite days at that place that you and I used to work were the days when the special needs class would come in, because I just got to be with them, and we got to spend a day together. I still have, it's right next to my desk right here, handwritten cards from those kids, because they said, "Thank you, Mr. Conrad, for coming in." And that meant more to me than anything in the world. So you're in a sweet spot. You're in a perfect place for who you are, your heart, who you are. So, all right. You are an unscripted athlete. Sorry, let me try to get you an unscripted athlete. How can people contact you if someone has listened to this today, if they're interested because they are, hey, the NIL changed everything, right? You play for Ohio State, so you have an opportunity to represent brands, represent companies, whatever it might be. And that's my goal for unscripted athletes, is to learn and grow and have opportunities. So if anyone's listening to this today, how can they contact you? Is it best for them to contact me directly and then let me get that to you? Or do you have some way that they can contact you?
Yeah, so you can either, contact you, obviously. I'm also very big with social media. So my social media is open, my Instagram's open, my Twitter's open. And so if that's the case, if you want, to know where we play, when we play, etc., you can always message me. I'm 100% going to message you back within a day. I'm always on Instagram and Twitter, but either they can contact you or they can message me on any of my social medias, and I will 100% get back to them.
Let me say this really quick because it's important. And our co-friend Cammie, who's one of my besties, one of the things I appreciate about you both is we live in a Kardashian world, and we live in a world where, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and there's a lot of youth. Let me just say that. Let me just be blanket. There's a lot of youth that I look at, and I look at their Instagram and their TikToks and their Twitters, and I'm like, I don't judge, because that's just the world we live in. But what I respect is those that don't do that. And I will say that for you as an athlete at Ohio State University, as someone I appreciate and respect, you keep it really, really high level. And I appreciate that about you. Because at the end of the day, we live in that world where you could make your social media something that, look, again, we live in a Kardashian world. They've made a lot of money. There's a lot of opportunity out there to do some things. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about without going into details. At the end of the day, Miss Kaitlyn, her social media is strong. And she's the kind of girl that you want your daughter to look up to. And she's the kind of follow that you can be proud of. And I'm proud of you. I want to say that to you. I've always meant to tell you that. I'm real proud of you because, the pull, the world we live in is going to take you in our direction. And that's not who you are. And I appreciate that about you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you feel that because you play at Ohio State, or is that just who you are? I believe I know the answer to this, but let me ask you that question.
So that's 100% just who I am. Like my parents raised me like to make sure that my social media is 100% clean. Like it's almost like, I think my mom told me once, like, your social media is what, jobs and owners are going to look at first. Right. And like situations, even nowadays with like NFL players, major league players, where they will go back to 2007 and like pull up something that you said when you were a teenager or even whenever you first got social media, and they pull it up against you and they use it against you. Yep. And so, like, I wanted to make sure, number one, like, I never want that to happen to me, no matter how like small and stupid it is. Like I 100% keep my social media clean of, whatever I'm liking, whatever I'm retweeting, whatever I'm posting myself. Like, I want to make sure that like if my future, manager, my future boss, like comes and sees my social media, they're like, okay, like, she has respect for herself.
That may be the most important thing you've honestly said this entire time. And look, this has been a great interview and you were awesome, as I knew you would be. That may be the most important thing you've said as someone who hires today's college and high school kids, or did hire.
Yeah.
Be really, really aware. Beware, because we see it every day on Twitter. So they'll go back and find some tweet from 2001 when a kid was drunk at a party and tweeted something, but it ruins their world. So that's what we live in. I appreciate that as a D1 athlete, as one of our unscripted athletes. And I've shared this today. I work with a couple companies locally to try to get you guys some stuff, and from my text. I'm working on some stuff. But what I told them is these are the kind of kids you can be proud of. Yeah. And when I say kids, you know what I mean. I said these are the kind of athletes you can be proud of. They're the kind of athletes that you want supporting your brand. They're the kind of athletes that I would be proud to attach my name to, which is why I have. And it's important. So I hope people heard that. And I'll probably clip this and put it on social media because of that. Like, today's athlete needs to understand we live in a different world, and what you tweet today could haunt you the rest of your life. And I appreciate that about you. And I'm so respectful of how you've kept it really, really clean and all those things. So thank you for that, because I think you're setting an example. You played at the Ohio State University, and it's a big deal, especially in Ohio. So anyway, anything else? Because look, at the end of the day, I brought our surprise in. I can't wait till next month.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Gary's coming. We're going to have, I can't give away all the details yet. Gary and I talked today. We're going to have a really big thing that weekend. But at the end of the day, you get to go meet Mercy and me. How about that?
I know. I am so excited. Oh my gosh. Even like before he told me that, I saw him like pop up and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, Aaron told me I was going to cry. But I didn't think I actually would.
I think we all three made it through it without crying, which is unheard of on the Unscripted podcast. But no, I was so excited today. I was really excited because I know how important Mercy Me is to you. I know what Gary's words and what they meant to you. And that's what I really want to share with you today.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate that. Like I was telling him too, like, I appreciate you more than you know. And like, just like bringing him on to the podcast to talk to me is absolutely incredible. And like, that's something that like I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Not only talking with him over Zoom, but talking with him in person, and, you know, meeting Mercy Me, and just, you know, like getting to be in their presence. Like, that's just going to be amazing.
I told him that today, because like you said, like we said a few minutes ago, even if it's my next tattoo, and I don't really like, I love Mercy Me. I'm not fanboy, but I just want to say thank you to them. You know, they've written words that, again, I don't want to scroll back to what we talked about a minute ago, but, you know, mental illness, the struggle, the fight that we all go through as believers and as people that struggle with just everyday life. And the song, Even If, has a really special place in my heart, because, you know what, even if whatever, insert whatever line comes next, even if, I'm still going to believe in Christ, and I'm still going to keep my faith. And I just want to tell Bart that. I just want to tell Bart, thank you for writing Even If. And they have a catalog of songs that I can honestly thank him for, but that's the one. So anything else? You've been awesome. I knew this was going to be the GOAT episode of Unscripted. Been really excited. We've been texting all day about how excited I was. Anything else you want to share with any young players? You know, there's so much. I think we could probably go on for hours, but is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah. So I think like the biggest thing, especially talking to like, you know, softball players, even if it's not softball players, like any young kid who's playing sports and is so stressed out about how they're doing, how they're producing, you know, like where are they going to go? Like, I just think, and I wish I would have realized this and processed this when I was younger, but like softball, like, does not define you as a person.
Nope.
Your sport, no matter what it may be, football, basketball, baseball, water polo, whatever, like, it does not define you as a person at all. And like, that's not something that I processed and realized until probably about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like, because even my freshman year of college, I was all about like, oh, I needed to start. I needed to do well. Okay, I'm starting. Like, now I have to produce. And it's like, okay, we'll step back. Like, that's not the end all be all. You know, like we were just talking about, like, you know, like, even if I struggle in my sport, like, Christ is still going to be king.
Oh, man. You know? So good.
And regardless of how you end up in your sport, like, there are much bigger things in life than your sport. And, you know, like I said, I wish I would have realized that sooner. And I try to instill that with my girls that I work with all the time. Excuse me. But that's just like the biggest thing that I could possibly say.
Awesome. And you just said it. At the end of the day, Christ is still king, and we're still holy, righteous, and redeemed. And that's what I wanted Gary to tell you, is you are holy, righteous, and redeemed. And I'm so proud of you, Miss Kaitlyn. All right. Last couple things. What, you just started some lessons outside, or you're finding ways. So if somebody wants to do lessons with you and they're in the Central Ohio-ish area, how do they contact you?
Like I was saying before, like, I'm, you know, Facebook, like, I've had some people message and reach out like on Facebook, because I know your friend posted on like the Central Ohio.
Yes, sir. Mr. Tony Huff. Shout out Tony Huff.
Yes.
Shout out.
Posted my stuff, and I've had a couple people reach out to me through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Like I said, you know, before, like, I will 100% respond to you within a day. And so, like, if anybody wants to come get lessons, that would be awesome. I would be happy to work with you, your daughters, you know, whatever. So I would just say social media as of right now.
Okay. And let's run through the social medias real quick. What is Facebook? That's probably a really hard one, because I just saw your eyes got like headlights. All right, forget Facebook. Search Kaitlyn Coffman on Facebook, and you'll find her. Yeah. What's Twitter? Twitter
is Kaitlyn_Coffman, and then Instagram is Kaitlyn.Coffman.
And it's Kaitlyn with a K, Coffman
Yeah.
with a C.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. So, and I'll have all that in this post, but if you're listening, I want to say this again. I just said it a minute ago, but I want to say it again. If you're listening, if you just heard that Kaitlyn's doing lessons, it's important. I have a daughter. I have 2 daughters. I have a son. And when I was, when I was looking for lessons for them, I don't just want somebody that can teach them to throw a curveball. I don't just want somebody that can teach them to do the hurdles. I don't want just somebody that can teach them to do a flip turn. I want people of character. I want people that when my daughter goes home, daughters, I should say, go home and pull up their Instagram because they're going to follow their coach. I want that Instagram to be clean, neat, organized, and professional. And I want my son to follow guys that are not posting pictures of their weekend and all this other stuff. I want him to post guys, I'm saying, like, as a parent, as a dad, that's what I want for my kids. If I'm going to look, I'm going to invest money because I want my kids to get better. If I'm going to invest that money, I want that money to go to somebody who, when they look on, we live in a social media world. I don't want them to follow the Kardashians. I want them to follow kids that are professional, clean, neat, organized, and their Instagram is all those things. So I want to say that because I want to say, if anyone's listening to this and you're looking for lessons in Central Ohio, please reach out to my girl, Kaitlyn, because she's all those things we just said. You can be proud of who she's going to go, your daughter, who they're going to go get a lesson with. And it's a lot bigger. And that's what I want to say too, where we have been, where you and I met, that is important, right? Because lessons, especially in the softball community, this is, again, sorry for the rant. This is important in the softball community. Girls that go and get lessons with softball instructors are getting softball instructors that's a lot bigger than just, hey, here's how to hit a curveball, or here's how to hit the rise ball, or I'm not a softball person, but you know what I'm saying? Like they look up to those instructors. They listen to those instructors, not just for in that cage or in that field. They look into them for, what do I do in my life? And if there's anybody, if my daughter's played softball, there's no one else I'd rather have. Well, I'm sorry. There's 2 people I'd go to, Miss Cammie Prano and Kaitlyn. Shout out Cammie. No, but you know that, right? There's 2 people I'd go. Why? Because their Instagram is professional. They keep themselves really smart on the social media side, and they also play at Ohio State, which I'm not an Ohio State fan, but hey, I am now. And
you're an Ohio State softball fan. Yeah.
I'm an Ohio State softball fan. I have a shirt that one of these days will fit me again. I promise. But anyway, that was a rant, but I really want people to hear that, because I wouldn't have you on if I didn't believe that. And I'm really thankful for who you are. That's the most important part of that whole really long thing I just said. There you go. Absolutely. Anything else? Look, seriously, if you want to contact Kaitlyn, contact me, Aaron at aaronconrad.com. Give me the Twitter and the Instagram one more time, Kaitlyn.
My Instagram is Kaitlyn.Coffman, and my Twitter is Kaitlyn_Coffman.
There you go. And if you're really looking for, buy a ticket to the Mercy B concert and try to get backstage on November 7th, because that's where you're going to find Kaitlyn.
Yes, that is where you will find me on November 7th.
There you go.
Probably stopping backstage.
You will be backstage. So, hey, say I won't. Thank you, Kaitlyn. Thank you for everything. Honestly, I really mean it. Thank you for being an advisor, an instructor, all those things, an insider. Thanks for everything you're doing for our athletes, because I really am excited about. There's a lot more coming, that, as you know, because you're an insider. There's a lot more coming for our athletes. I'm so thankful you were the very first one that said, hey, I'm in. And then everybody else kind of followed after. So thanks so much. I'm really proud of you. Gary's proud of you. Mercy Me is going to be proud of you in about a month. I know your parents are proud of you. We can't wait till this season. And now that you got clearance, we look forward to watching Ohio State softball.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Unscripted podcast with your host, Aaron Conrad, from his studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Make sure to like, share, follow, and review on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, make sure to check out my song Great and Mighty One on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your music. We'll see you next time on Unscripted with Aaron Conrad.
Viator is the world's leading travel experience marketplace, offering everything from simple tours to extreme adventures and all the niche, interesting stuff in between. Extensive options, ease of selection, and flexibility at your fingertips help make sure your time is wonderfully spent. Viator is the place to go to book experiences that will create long-lasting moments that make lifetime memories. And Viator has over 300,000 bookable experiences to choose from in over 190 countries. In fact, just last year, Viator helped my family put together this amazing adventure on the island of Kona, swimming with the manta rays, trying to avoid the barracudas, whatever your wildest dreams. If you can imagine it, Viator probably has an experience just for you. Download the Viator app now and use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in Viator's world of wonderful experiences. Viator, one site, over 300,000 experiences you'll remember.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.